Chapter 7. Sarah. With a sigh, I grab the bottle of wine on the seat next to me and head toward Janice's door. This wasn't how I planned on spending my evening. I was hoping for a visit from JD. Or even a phone call. But it's been a hard day, and when Janice entered my office at the end of the day with tears in her eyes and the weight of the world on her shoulders, I couldn't say no to spending some time with her. Hopefully, I can make it a short visit, though. I'm dealing with my own pain, and curling up on the couch with JD's voice in my ear would help relieve the ache. When she opens the door, I offer a consolatory smile and hand her the bottle of Merlot that I brought. Her eyes aren't as red as I would have suspected, but her somber expression says enough. Thank you. She takes the bottle and heads toward the kitchen. I cannot believe how hard today was. Me either. After the staff meeting, I'd composed myself, and then an email, letting the rest of the company know about Claire's death, and Janice's offer for a counselor. The rest of the day had slipped away like sands in an hourglass, with me staring at the screen, but seeing nothing. Every time I'd tried to focus on an email, images of Claire had entered my mind. Her interview when she'd been so nervous that she'd spoken 90 miles an hour. Her anxious expression when she'd given me a sketch she'd drawn of me for a secret Santa gift. The smile she flashed when I praised her work. And with the images had come the questions. Why hadn't she told anyone she was hurting? How had I missed it? And worst of all, how had she done it? I had a feeling from the haggard lines on her face that Janice's experience had been similar. I still can't believe it. She pulls 2 glasses from the cabinet, and I recognize them from a wine and chocolate tour we'd taken one summer. It had been right after we'd decided to launch the company, and we'd done the tour in celebration of our business venture. That day had been filled with easygoing laughter, a stark contrast to the storm clouds of today. After opening the bottle, she pours us each a glass, and I try not to associate the color of the wine with the blood that may or may not be at Claire's apartment. I feel even worse for whoever found her. Did the police tell you who it was? Maybe we can send flowers or something. I shake my head as she hands me a glass. No, and I didn't think to ask. But I'd guess it was her friend Amy. They carpooled most days, though Amy works down the street. Oh, I didn't know that. Janice corks the bottle and takes a sip from her glass. Though she doesn't ask it, I can feel the question hanging in the air. How did I know? She told me one day a few months ago when she called to say she'd be late because Amy's car had a flat tire. I guess they traded off driving, but often met at Carrie's apartment in the morning. A heavy silence falls between us, because what do you say to that? Well, I'm glad she had a friend, even though that didn't save her. Words feel empty and insufficient at the moment. I suppose we need to post her position, Janice says as we head to the living room. The statement, said almost too casually, shocks me like an unseen current. Of course, we'll have to hire someone, but speaking of it tonight feels a little callous. Perhaps Janice has more business acumen than I originally gave her credit for. I suppose you're right. I'll get on that in the morning. I'm sure we can set up a few interviews within the week. She nods and sits down on the couch, curling her feet beneath her, but her eyes seem far away, as if she's contemplating something else. Maybe she's also struggling with the uncomfortable nature of this conversation. But when she speaks, I sense no discomfort. I'll be happy to do the interviews if you'd like. I shouldn't put that weight on Janice's shoulders. After all, I'm the boss, and I still feel responsible for Claire. But Janice will work with the person closer than I will, and it is important that we hire someone she gets along with. Okay, let's get together next week to discuss the candidates, and then you can set up the interviews. She nods, and the silence falls between us again, pressing down like a weight on my chest. Finally, it gets so heavy that I decide to change the subject. So, where's Daniel tonight? I glance around, expecting him to appear in the doorway any minute. Daniel is her husband, and the two of them were nearly inseparable when they first got together. It was the kind of relationship that tugged on your heartstrings, but also made you a little nauseous. She sighs and takes a long sip of her drink before answering. He's on another sales trip. Another one? This surprises me. Daniel has always had to travel for his job, but it seems he's been gone more than normal lately. Enough that Janice hasn't mentioned him much, and the few times she has, I can tell things are a little rocky at the moment. She rolls her eyes and twirls the glass in her hand. Yes, but a short one this time. It's no big deal. He'll be back in a few days, and it means that I can drink as much as I want tonight. Normally, this would shock me. Janice isn't much of a drinker. In fact, she's usually the designated driver when we go out. But the affairs of the day make her comment excusable. Besides, it's Friday and she'll have the weekend to recover. She won't have to worry about nursing a hangover tomorrow like I did this morning. However, I'm concerned about her answer and her relationship. But how many of these trips has he done lately? She shrugs, playing off how much it bothers her. A few, but he's a salesman. He has to go where he can make the deals. What am I supposed to do, tell him no? Of course not. I tread lightly because not only is this a discussion we've had several times over the last few months, but I know she's sensitive about it. It's just that you're my friend and I want you to be happy. Her gaze drops to her wine glass again, and I know she's trying to think of a way to change the conversation. I am happy. I would beg to differ with her there, but I can only say so much. It's not my relationship, and I've said all I can to convince her that perhaps there's more to Daniel's trips than just meetings. I take a drink of my wine and think about how to change the subject again. Thankfully, Janice takes the lead this time. I found this new bakery near here that has the most amazing desserts, and the guy who works there is actually French. Ooh la la, that sounds delicious. I'll have to check it out. Our conversation has shifted to the mundane, how's the weather type of conversation, but maybe that's what we need tonight, to think about something light, something other than Claire. And maybe check out the French chef. He's quite handsome, and I think you'd like him. I can say that since I'm married. I feel heat climb my cheeks. I should tell Janice that I'm seeing someone, but I can't. Not yet. Besides, it's too new, and I don't want to jinx it. So I simply shake my head. I'm not looking for a romance right now. I'm too busy. Both of those statements are true, but not for the reasons I implied. I feel a twinge of guilt about misleading her, but I know it will come out someday. Oh, come on, she says, grinning wickedly. Can you imagine dating a pastry chef? Fresh baguettes for breakfast every morning, croissants in the afternoon, danishes for desserts? Is there anything more heavenly? I chuckle and shake my head. I'm not sure heavenly is the word you're going for. If I ate like that, I'd gain a ton of weight. Yeah, but you'd probably be happy. Her gaze drops to her wine as she takes another drink, but I don't miss the insinuation in her words. She may say that she's happy, but her actions state otherwise. Before I can say anything, her phone vibrates and she pulls it out. For the briefest second, her face lights up, and then it falls. "Everything okay?" I ask, even though I know the answer is probably no. She shakes her head but offers a brave smile. "Daniel's trip got extended another week. Nothing big." I bite back the words I want to say and offer consoling words instead. "I'm sorry, Janice. I know it must be hard with him being gone so much, especially with everything going on." She gives me a small smile. "Yeah, but at least it means we can have more girls' nights." "Sure. Maybe we can do that Gilmore Girls marathon we were talking about." A strained silence falls between us, and I chance a glance at my watch. I've been here over an hour, but it feels too early to leave. However, I'm not sure I can handle staying much longer, which is weird because Janice and I used to be so close. Are we drifting apart, or is it just the situation with Claire dampening the mood? "Do you want another glass?" Janice finally asks. "I can't. I actually need to get going." I wish I had a solid excuse, an appointment I have to keep or some deadline, but as I have nothing, I just have to hope that Janice doesn't ask. If I have to make up something on the spot, I know she'll see through it. "Oh, really?" "Yes, I'm sorry, but I'll see you on Monday." I down the last sip and hand her the glass. Though I can tell she wants to ask me to stay, she doesn't push the issue and we part ways at her door. I breathe a sigh of relief as I slide into my car. Janice is my friend, but tonight felt awkward and stilted. Will we ever return to that easy banter we once had? Or has Claire's death forever changed our relationship and my company's camaraderie? My phone vibrates in my pocket. Hoping it's JD and that he'll want a visit, or at least a phone call where I can hear his voice, I pull it out and tap the button. But it's just an email from work about a possible new campaign. So I don't forget, I flag the email, and then I head towards home.